Alright everyone, this is Zero Budget Geek and welcome back to my review of the Shadows over Innistrad and Oath of the Gatewatch cards, which were released just recently. Now I'd like to apologize that this video is coming a few days after my first set of videos. I did not intend for there to be a little bit of a gap, but you know, I had life things going on that I had to take care of. But I'm back to film the my reviews of the rest of the cards. So what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the cards for the first time and basically giving my first impressions on what I think of them. Now I'm probably going to be totally wrong on what I think of some of them because I may see them, you know, a card I may see may not seem like it's worthwhile to me, and then I'll see later cards that may up its value in my eyes. But anyway, without further ado, let's start with the red cards. I've already gone through white, blue, and black in previous episodes. Now we'll go through red and on and on. Alright, let's get started. Here we go. First red card we have is the Akum Flameseeker. It's one red, two colors. It's a common human shaman ally. Ally is important. It's 3/2 for 3 mana, which isn't terrible. I mean, you're getting 3 power for 3 mana. And it has an ability, the cohort ability, tap the Flameseeker plus tap an untapped ally you control. Discard a card if you do draw a card. So this will work good with those madness decks and or delirium decks. So though with red you usually want to be attacking with your guys rather than just sitting back tapping them, so you know, I'm not sure about that card, but let's move on. Alright, Vasen's Judgment, one red, one colorless. It's a rare sorcery and it has madness of a red plus X, so you play this if you're discarding it. Okay, Vasen's Judgment deals 2 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or players. If Vasen's Judgment mana cost was paid, it deals X damage divided as you choose among those creatures and or players instead. So if you just play it for its base ability, it's gonna do 2 damage, so it's on par with Twin Bolt. So it's already great as it is. Plus it has the, well, actually not really because it's a sorcery, but it's still good. 2 damage for 2 mana is fine, and you're getting the bonus madness ability, which is really good. So good card there. And I got a little bit of a cold going on. Alright, we have the Blood Mad Vampire, one red, 2 colors. It's a common vampire berserker, and it's a 4/1, which is great power for the mana, but it dies easy. Alright, when Blood Mad Vampire deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it, and you can play this for 2 mana if you pay its madness cost. So I actually like this card. It's probably not that great of a card, but I like this card for the simple fact that you can play it for its madness cost for 2, and even playing at 3 is not terrible. And if it hits, it becomes a 5/2, which is still, you know, it's still you can kill it relatively easy, but unchecked this could get really really nasty. So kind of interesting card. I'd like to see that get some play. I don't know that it will. All right, we have a Boulder Salvo, one red, 4 colorless. It's a common sorcery. It deals 4 damage to target creature, which is kind of not great. 5 mana for 4 damage at sorcery speed pretty much sucks, but you can play it for its surge cost, so that may make it worthwhile in a discarding deck. Yeah, it would need to be in a deck that you can make use of the surge cost, or not discarding. When I'm thinking madness, surges if you play a spell before this at some point during your turn, so not that terrible then in that case. Alright, moving on. We have the Breakneck Rider, 2 red, 1 colorless. It's an uncommon human scout werewolf. Alright, we get to see the werewolves now. And it's a 3/3 for 3 mana. Not bad at all. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform Breakneck Rider. So this relies on your opponent not playing any spells on their turn. And he transforms into just a neck breaker. Werewolf. He's a 4/3, and attacking creatures you control get +1/+0 and have trample. So when he's attacking, he's a 5/3. At the beginning of your upkeep, if a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform Neckbreaker. So, go back to that. At the beginning of each upkeep, no spells were cast last turn. So you can actually, if you don't cast a spell on your turn, he will transform on your opponent's upkeep. So interesting card. I'm not too sure about the werewolves just yet. Look like they could make for an interesting aggro type deck. I'd have to see more to kind of make a decision on them, but they seem like they're powerful. All right, we have Brute Strength, 1 red, 1 colorless, and it's an instant. Target creature gets +3/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. I personally am not a big fan of instants, of that target, give bonuses to creatures. But I mean, in an aggro deck, totally useful, and the fact that it gives trample is not insignificant. So I like this card. It's just it's only for certain decks. It's not a card I would use in just any deck. Alright, moving on. Ooh, red Planeswalker, Chandra the Flamecaller. 2 red and 4 colors. Man, she's expensive to cast. She's a mythic Planeswalker. Starts with 4 loyalty, and her +1 ability is put 2/3/1 red elemental creature tokens with haste onto the battlefield. Exile them at the beginning of the next end step. That's pretty nice. You're getting 6 power for just a +1. Now they go away, but you're gonna get to attack with them, and they either gotta get blocked or may possibly kill something or do some major damage. So nice +1 ability. I love it. Alright, her second ability is a 0. Discard all the cards in your hand, then draw that many cards +1. So that's kind of cool. You get a net gain of 1 card out of that, so not bad at all. And then her ultimate is -X. Chandra Flamecaller deals X damage to each creature. So she has a built-in sweeper that won't kill her. So that's actually kind of nice, because on the turn you play her, you can actually sweep for 3 and still keep her around. You can sweep for 4 and lose her, but overall great card. That's a powerful Planeswalker. Very costly though. Cost is very high. I'm not even sure if the cost makes it that much worth it, but I'd still play it. It's powerful. Alright, we have the Ember Eye Wolf, 1 red, 1 colorless. It's a common wolf creature, and it's a 1/2 for 2 mana, which is not great in red, but it does have haste, and you can pay a red and a colorless, and Ember Eye Wolf gets +2 until the turn. +2 attack, so that makes it a little better. I mean, you still have to be playing that, but turn 2 you play it, turn 3 you can do that and attack for 3 damage. So that's not really bad. Could be good for aggro deck, but you may want to be spending that mana casting more creatures rather than pumping this up. So not sure on that guy. And he's a common. Okay, we have a Cinder Hellion, 1 red, 4 colorless, and it's a common Hellion. And it's a 4/4 for 5 mana, which is just okay, but it does have trample, but trample is usually better on much bigger guys, but hey, we'll take it. And when Cinder Hellion enters the battlefield, it deals 2 damage to target opponent. If that did the 2 damage to a target or just to a specifically a creature, I'd like that better than the opponent. But you're getting 6 total possible damage out of 5 mana, so it's okay, but nothing really to write home about. At 5 mana, there's probably better things I'd rather be playing. Okay, we have an Ember Beast, 1 red, 2 colorless. It's a common beast. It can't attack or block alone, and it's a 3/4. 3/4 for 3 mana is really great. That's why they've given it a drawback here. Can't attack or block alone. This will probably be good for aggro decks and not much else. It can't even block alone, so yeah, it's not even that good of a defender. All right, we have a Convicted Killer. I really like the flip cards in this set. They are very thematic and they're very cool. All right, Convicted Killer, 1 red, 2 colorless. It's a common human werewolf, and it's a 2/2 for 3 mana, which is okay, is about normal. But at the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast last turn, transform Convicted Killer. So if your opponent doesn't play anything, he'll transform, and if you don't, he'll transform on your opponent's turn. What does he turn into? A Branded Howler. Straight up werewolf. He becomes a 4/4 at the beginning of each upkeep. If a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform Branded Howler. So it'll flip back and forth between a 4/4 and a 2/2. Most of the time it'll probably be a 4/4 because it's a little easier for no spells to be cast than 2 in a turn, but he'll not be as great later on. But I'm beginning to see that a aggro werewolf deck could be viable. Alright, Embodiment of Fury. 1 red, 3 colorless. It's an uncommon elemental, and it's a 4/3 for 4 mana. Not too terrible. It does have trample, which is nice. Land creatures you control have trample. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess that could be useful. I mean, it is useful. I don't know how impactful it is because most lands are just 3/3s. Alright, it has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may have a target land you control become a 3/3 elemental creature that with haste until end of turn it's still a land. So that's interesting. That's actually pretty interesting. Definitely could I could see a elemental aggro deck being put together. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I mean, it's cute. I don't know how powerful it is, but alright, we're gonna move on. Devil's Playground. 2 red and 4 colors. It's a rare sorcery, so this should be good. Put 4 1/1 red devil creature tokens onto the battlefield. They have, when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to target creature or player. So you get a bunch of 4. You get 4 1/1s that you could attack with them, possibly dealing 4 damage. And if they die, they will do 1 damage to target creature or player. So you could potentially get at least 8 damage. Just out of this 1 card play. I guess that's why it costs 6 mana. And then, you know, the fact that they're 1/1s make them good fodder for sacrificing, and red is usually in the sacrifice deck, so I can see this being a very impactful card. Even by itself, it's kind of cool. And I think they were very careful to make sure that it's a creature type that's not really abused by anything else, because I haven't seen anything mentioning the devil subtype. Alright, moving on. Well, anyway, I like this card. It's very costly, but it could potentially be a lot of damage. Alright, we have Expedite. 1 red, it's a common instant. Target creature gains haste until end of turn and draw a card. I would pass on this. This looks like a limited card, like for a draft tournament or something like that. Otherwise, there's better things you want to have in your hand. For 1 mana. Alright, we have Devouring Flames. 1 red, 2 colorless. It's an uncommon sorcery. Man, the art is cool. Alright, as an additional cost to cast Devouring Flames, return a land you control to its owner's hand. That is not a terrible cost. Devouring Flame deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. 5 damage for 3 mana is really good. You do need to return a land to your hand, but if you haven't played a land yet, you can put that land back down, and you could actually return one of the lands that you tapped. Can you do that? As an additional cost to cast the Flame, return a land you control to owner's hand. So in Magic Duels, I'm not sure. I think you can play this, then this effect will trigger. And then can you return the land you played? Well, even if you didn't, you can still replay the land that you played if you hadn't played anything yet. So 5 damage is pretty nice. It is just sorcery speed, so that brings its value down. If it was an instant, it'd be overpowered as an instant. As it is, it's pretty good. I think you might see that get some play. Alright, Fall of Titans. 1 red and double XX. It's a rare instant, and it has a search cost of red and just 1 X. Alright, Fall of Titans deals X damage each of up to 2 target creatures and or players. You can only hit 2 things with this, but you can do X damage. So it's an X spell. You want to do it for its search cost, pretty much. Yeah, this is nice. A way to deal X damage to 2 creatures and players. So that really makes it playable. The fact that you can hit the player with it. So good spell. I think you're gonna see this get some play. Especially in those madness decks that are sure to pop up very soon. Alright, we have an Eldrazi Aggressor. 1 red, 2 colors, and a common Eldrazi drone. So it's a 2/3 for 3 mana. That's on par. Devoid until it has no color, and the aggressor has haste as long as you control another colorless creature. I've heard that a colorless deck is now viable, a good colorless aggro deck, and So this guy would fit in that. Otherwise, he's not great at all. You need him. He's a specialty card for a special deck. Fiery Temper, 2 red, 1 colorless, a common instant. Fiery Temper deals 3 damage to target creature or player, and it has a madness of 1. Alright, this is a good card. 3 damage for 3 mana is fine. I mean, you want to see more damage for less mana out of red, but 3 mana for 3 damage is pretty good, and the fact that it hits target creature or player is even better. And then you have madness, which really makes it playable. I mean, you know, do something to discard and you won't play it for 1, so that's really nice. It's an instant, hits both creatures and players. This is a pretty good card, even without the madness. With the madness, makes it very, very playable, at least in my opinion. Okay, we have the Eldrazi Obligator. 1 red, 2 colors. It's a rare Eldrazi. It's a 3/1 for 3 mana. I'm not crazy about that. It dies pretty easily. And it has the Void, which means it has no color. When you cast Eldrazi Obligator, you may pay 1 of any mana and 1 specific colorless. If you do, gain control of target creature until end of turn, untap that creature and gain haste until end of turn, and it itself has haste. So you can take control of your opponent's only blocker and attack with it, and with this Eldrazi with its haste. So well, this is potentially a very powerful card, but it dies very easily. So I see. And you only get that effect when you first cast it, though it does only cost 3 mana. So in a colorless Eldrazi deck, this could be very powerful. So definitely an aggro deck, not a control style deck. Okay, Flameblade Angel, 2 red, 4 colorless, and we have a rare red angel. Oh, the art is so cool. Okay, 4/4 for 6 cost is not great, but maybe its ability is worth it. It is flying, which is okay. It's an angel. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you or a permanent you control, you may have Flameblade Angel deal 1 damage to that source's controller. Whenever a source an opponent controls deals damage to you, so creatures, if creatures hit you, you'll get to do a damage for each creature hitting you. So it's a neat ability. It's very high cost for that, but I guess this potentially could deal a lot of damage. So like most other big fatties, especially angels, this will probably see some play. Yeah, it's cool. It's not, I don't know if it's game breaking or game winning. It could be, but it's still very cool. I like it. Alright, Gatstaff Arsonist. 1 red and 4 colors. It's a common human werewolf. It's a 5/4 for 5 mana. That's pretty good cost. I would probably play that. Let's see what you get out of it. At the beginning of each upkeep, no spells were cast last turn. Transform the Arsonist. So they'll transform into the werewolf form. Must be pretty big. Gustav's Ravagers. They are a 6/5 with menace, which is really good. That is nice. At the beginning of each upkeep, if a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform Gustav Ravagers. So you gotta be careful with these werewolf decks that you're not casting 2 spells in a turn when you've transformed them. So I like this guy, even in his base form of 5/4 can be kind of tough to deal with, and then once he becomes a 6/5 with menace, that's rough. But your opponent can deal with it by casting 2 spells. They can cast 2 cheap spells or something, or cast a spell and surge. So. But I'm liking the werewolf so far. Okay. We have Kazu's Toll Collector. 1 red, 2 colorless. It's an uncommon ogre warrior, and it's a 3/2 for 3 mana. It's just okay. And you pay 0. Attach target equipment you control to Kazu's Toll Collector. Activate this ability anytime you could cast a sorcery. So this guy totally depends on how good the equipment cards are in this set, and I haven't seen any yet, so I don't know. So this guy could be great. He could suck. Can't tell. Depends on the artifacts, if the artifacts are worth it. See, now he doesn't get any benefit for having artifacts on him. Like, he doesn't get a +1 or something. If he did, that'd make him really great. Right now, it's just okay. But basically, you can attach equipment to him for free. That's all it is. Alright, the Gear Reach Bandit. 1 red, 2 colors. It's a rare human rogue werewolf, so I'm expecting this to be good. It's a 3/2 for 3 mana. It's pretty good, and it has haste. That's nice. A 3 power guy with haste is good. At the beginning of each upkeep, if no spells were cast, transform him. What does he turn into? The Vilden Pack Alpha. He goes from a 3/2 to a 4/3. Whenever a werewolf enters the battlefield under your control, you may transform it. Now that is quite powerful. At the beginning of each upkeep, if a player casts 2 or more spells last turn, transform Wielding Pack Alpha. So I am very interested in seeing a werewolf deck now. I'm very excited about these guys. I love the flavor on the cards, and this guy here just makes it really ridiculous. Though he is a rare, so you can only have 2 in your deck, but I really want to see a werewolf deck now. Okay, we have a Kessig Forge Master, 1 red, 1 colorless. It's an uncommon human shaman werewolf, and it's a 2/1 for 2 mana, which is okay. Whenever Kessig Forge Master blocks or becomes blocked by a creature, Kessig Forge Master deals 1 damage to that creature. So he actually blocks for 3. At the beginning of each upkeep, no spells we cast last turn, transform him. So that's neat. He does an extra damage. And that damage is right before, right, when it blocks or becomes blocked by a creature. So that extra damage is right before he does his regular damage. So basically something with a 1 toughness would die before he gets to deal damage to him, if I'm understanding things correctly. Alright, what's his transform state? Flameheart Werewolf. Very cool concept. And he goes up from a 2/1 to a 3/2, which is not, it's okay. Whenever Flame blocks or becomes blocked, he deals 2 damage instead, and if you cast 2 or more spells in a turn, he turns back. So yeah, cool guy. I can see him in a werewolf deck. Alright, we have a Geit's Blast, 1 red, 2 colors, a uncommon instant, deals 2 damage to target creature or player. 2 damage for 3 mana is not that great, but let's see. For a blue and 2 colors, exile Geit Blast from your graveyard. Copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. So obviously you need to have blue to make this work. But the ability to copy an instant or sorcery spell is a very, very powerful ability. So I can see I see some crazy shenanigans with that. But you need to make sure you have red and blue in a deck, so that limits how its usefulness. Okay, we have Kozilek's Return, 1 red, 2 colors, a mythic instant. I don't know if we've seen one of those before. It's devoid, it has no color. It deals 2 damage to each creature, so 2 damage for 3 to each creature for 3 mana is nice. Whenever you cast an Eldrazi creature spell with a converted mana cost 7 or greater, you may exile Kozilek's Return from your graveyard. If you do, it deals 5 damage to each creature. So, I mean, what can I say? This is a pretty good card. I mean, it's specifically for an Eldrazi deck, but I mean, I could see this being played even outside of Eldrazi decks, just for the 2 damage to each creature in red. Yeah, I mean, 2 damage to each creature can do a lot of damage to kill a lot of tokens. So yeah, I like this card. It's mythic, so you can only have 1, so it's not going to be super impactful, but it's kind of cool anyway. Alright, we have an Immobilizer Eldrazi, 1 red, 1 colorless, an uncommon Eldrazi Drone, 2/1 for 2 mana, which is meh. Has no color, and you pay 2 of any color and 1 colorless. Each creature with toughness greater than its power can't block this turn, so it gets around defending type stuff. Now, yeah, I mean, this would be good in a Eldrazi colorless aggro deck. Other than that, it sucks. Alright, we have Lightning Axe, 1 red for an uncommon instant. As an additional cost to cast Lightning Axe, discard a card or pay 5, so it costs 6. Lightning Axe deals 5 damage to target creature. This is actually by itself, it's terrible. However, with madness abilities, this could be really, really good. So goes in a madness deck, and outside of it, it sucks. In a madness deck, it could be very powerful. Alright, Incorrigible Youths, 2 red, 3 colorless, and they are an uncommon vampire, and they're wreaking havoc on somebody there. Alright, it's a 4/3 for 5 mana, which is not that great, but it does have haste, and you can play it for 3 mana if you were play its madness cost. So 3 mana for 4/3 with haste is really nice. You can really surprise people, like that guy in that picture is getting surprised. Otherwise, at 5 mana, it's not that great. Though the haste is nice because you can sneak it in there as a surprise. So If it didn't have the haste, this would be a much worse card. The haste makes that at least a little bit worthwhile. Alright, we have the Maw of Kozilek. 1 red, 3 colorless. It's a common Eldrazi drone. It's a 2/5 for 4 mana, which is okay. It's a good defender, has no color. You pay 1 colorless. Maw of Kozilek gets +2, -2 on the end of the turn, so you can make them into a 4/3 or even a 6/1. Right? Yeah, 6/1. So pretty versatile. You do have to pay specifically colorless mana to do that, but if you have a colorless Eldrazi deck, that should not be hard to do. Alright, Inner Struggle. 1 red, 3 colors, and an uncommon instant. Target creature deals damage to itself equal to its power. Now this is good. I like this card. It should kill most things. I mean, things with greater toughness than its power are not usually, you're not as worried about as stuff that, you know, have high power. So this is pretty good. I like this. I don't like the cost 4 mana to do that. Well, if you're playing this, you're probably playing it because you actually are gonna kill something. So 4 mana just to outright kill something, in that sense, makes sense, because we've done that before at 5 mana with black. So so this is an interesting card, though. I think red usually would prefer to just have actual, well, this is doing damage, so yeah, that's a good card. Let's move on. Oath of Chandra. 1 red, 1 colorless. It's a legendary rare enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, it deals 3 damage to target creature and opponent controls. So 3 damage for 2 mana is excellent. And then we have a bonus ability. At the beginning of each end step, if a Planeswalker enters the battlefield under your control this turn, Oath of Chandra deals 2 damage to each opponent. So one of the better legendary enchantments. Actually, I don't remember what the other ones were, but this was interesting. I mean, you look at it as it's a straight up burn spell for specifically creatures, which is not bad at all. And then the fact that you get something bonus if you played a Planeswalker is nice. So the Oath is kind of cool. You really want to use it in a Planeswalker deck. Alright, Insolent Neonate. 1 red for a common vampire. He's very flamboyant. 1 mana for a 1/1, not bad. It has Menace, which is nice. Menace on a 1/1 is actually kind of nice. And discard a card, sacrifice Insolent Neonate, draw a card. So he can replace himself when he becomes useless, and the discarding card will trigger Menace effects as well as Delirium. So I think this is a really good card. 1 mana for 1/1 alone is just great. It gives you a first turn play. Its Menace means the first few turns it should be able to sneak in for damage. Its discard a card ability does not require it to be tapped or mana, so it's very useful, and it will let you activate Menace effects. So I think it is a very good card. I'm surprised it's just a common. By itself, it's not that great. As a Menace enabler, it's really good, though it does sacrifice itself, but you do get to draw a card to replace it. So I like that card a lot. I want to see that in a Menace deck. Alright, Press into Service. 1 red, 4 colors. It's an uncommon sorcery. It has the support of 2 +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. Gain control of target creature until end of turn, or tap that creature. It gains haste until end of turn. So another steal card. This one costs 5 mana, which is steep, but you get to put counters on 2 of your creatures, so the support makes it a little bit worthwhile. I still would rather play some of the cheaper cost ones, but the support too is kind of neat. I mean, I don't know. I still would rather play the cheaper ones. Alright, let's keep going. We have a lot more to go through still. Alright, we have a Pyrohound. 1 red, 3 colors. It's an uncommon elemental hound, and it's a 2/3 for 4 mana, which is bad. It does have trample, but on 2 power, that's not that great. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put +1/+1 counter on Pyrohound. So that's making him a little bit more worthwhile. You put him down, you play, you know, a Twin Bolt or something. He'll get a +1/+1, becoming a 3/4. Yeah, just even at a 3/4, he's kind of nice. Once he becomes a 4/5, he's even better. So this could get really interesting. It's 4 cost, though, worries me, because by the time you play this, your opponent probably has a lot of answers to it, so I'm not super hyped about it. But it is kind of cute. Alright, we have a Senseless Rage. 1 red, 1 colorless. It's a common aura. And enchanted creature gets +2/+2. And you can play this for its madness cost. So the madness cost is the same as its regular cost, which is fine. +2/+2 on a creature is kind of neat, but again, it is just an aura. So that, meh. Most of the time, there's something else I'd rather play for 2 mana. Alright, Pyromancer's Assault. 1 red, 3 colors. It's an uncommon enchantment. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, Pyromancer's Assault deals 2 damage to target creature or player. The fact that it hits either creature or player makes it really worthwhile playing. It does cost 4 mana, so it's okay. You kind of got to build a deck around this, but I think this could go well in one of those madness decks. Because you play or madness or surge. I haven't seen any surge in red, so madness is probably what you want to do. Yeah, I can see this being in a madness deck. Outside of it, I'm not sure. Spark Mage's Gambit, 1 red, 1 colorless. It's a common sorcery. Spark Mage Gambit deals 1 damage to each of up to 2 target creatures. Those creatures can't block this turn. So 2 damage for 2 mana is neat. It's basically a twin bow at sorcery speed, and they can't block this turn, which is not insignificant. Unlike this card, I won't say that it definitely won't replace twin bow because of the sorcery speed, but the ability to do damage and make something not block is can be key. It can be a game winner, so I like that card. It's not terrible. Alright, a Ravenous Bloodseeker, 1 red, 1 colorless. It's an uncommon vampire berserker, and it's a 1/3/1/3 for 2 mana is okay, which makes it kind of defensive, and you don't usually want to be doing that in red. But you can discard a card to give him +2/-2 until the turn, so you can make him into a 3 from a 1/3 to a 3/1. And the discard a card thing is nice because of the madness effects that you're surely going to have. So this guy is actually went from kind of met to me to pretty decent, though he just is pretty much exclusively for madness deck or delirium. Alright, Stensia Masquerade, 1 red, 2 colors. It is an uncommon enchantment. Attacking creatures you control have first strike, so that's cool. 3 mana to give all of my guys first strike is pretty nice. Whenever a vampire you control deals combat damage to a player, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Ooh, wow. That could be rough. This is only an uncommon, and you can play this for its madness cost. So if you were discarding it, you could still play it anyway for its regular cost. So this would be really good in a vampire deck. Holy cow, I'm surprised it's just an uncommon. You guys get first strike, and when you do damage to a player, they get bigger. So yeah, this could go in a vampire deck, definitely. Outside of it, it's giving all you guys first strike is limited, but can be still nice. Alright, Reality Hemorrhage, 1 red, 1 colorless. It's a common instant. It has no color. Reality Hemorrhage deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So 2 damage for 2 mana is okay. The fact that it has no color could be interesting, but I don't know that there's many things right now that care about that. So it's just okay. Most of the time there's other burn spells you probably want to play. Alright, Ulrich's Kindred, 1 red, 2 colorless. It's an uncommon wolf, and it's a 3/2 with trample, which is interesting. And for 1 green and 3 colors, target attacking wolf or werewolf gains indestructible until end of turn. So that is nice. So I'm guessing that we're gonna see werewolf is gonna be red green mainly, and it's a hint here, green eyes with a red card. By itself, not a great card. But in a werewolf deck, this could be very, very powerful, though its costs are kind of steep. Okay, though the steep cost may not be so bad, because it looks like a werewolf deck will probably be running on on low mana. Like you don't need a lot of mana to cast them, so it probably works out. All right, reduce to ashes. 1 red, 4 colors, a common sorcery. Reduce to ashes deals 5 damage to target creature. If that creature would die this turn, exile it instead. All right, 5 damage for 5 mana is on par. It's average. The fact that you exile it is okay. The fact that it's a sorcery is not okay, so I would pass on this. There's other things. I mean, I'd rather play Exquisite Firecraft for 3 mana. You get 4 damage. So the exile is not as worth it, and the sorcery speed makes it just bleh. So pass on that. All right, Vessel of Volatility. 1 red, 1 colorless. It's a common enchantment. You pay 1 red color, sacrifice it, and you add 4 red mana to your mana pool. So we haven't seen this in a long time. Some red mana accelerators. Yeah, I mean, I can see this in a good red aggro deck. Just to get stuff burned, but yeah. At the 2 point, when you're playing something for 2, usually there's something else you want to play. So I don't know about that card. It's interesting, but I don't know. Rush of Adrenaline. 1 red, common instant. Target creature gets +2/+1 against trample until end of turn. I don't like. If it had a draw card, it'd be neat. Otherwise, it's just like not that good. I'd rather play what's the other red one that we had before that had Scry? So no, I don't like this card. Alright, moving on. Voldaren Duelist. 1 red, 3 colorless. It's a common vampire warrior. It's a 3/2 for 4 mana, which is not good, but it does have haste, so you can squeeze in for an attack there. And when Voldaren Duelist enters the battlefield, target creature can't block this turn. So pretty much you're probably going to get in for a hit with this guy when you cast him, and combined with the Stensia Masquerade, he can go from being a 3/2 to a 4/3, which is kind of nice. So crappy by himself in a vampire deck, I'm sure he's gonna be pretty powerful. Scourge Wolf. 2 red, it's a rare wolf horror, which is interesting, and it's a 2/2 for 2 mana, which is normally okay, but for specific 2 red, it's not that great. But let's see, he has first strike, which is just okay, but when you have delirium going on, Scourge Wolf has double strike as long as there are 4 more card types among cards in your graveyard. So that's pretty good. And he is a wolf, which is key, so he can probably fit into a wolf werewolf deck. All right, Wolf of Devil's Breach. 2 red, 3 colorless. It's a mythic elemental wolf, so this should be good. It's a 5/5 for 5 mana, which is great. And whenever Wolf of Devil's Breach attacks, you may pay 1 red and 1 colorless and discard a card, thereby possibly activating Madness or Delirium. And if you do, Wolf of Devil's Breach deals damage to target creature or planeswalker equal to the discarded card's converted mana cost. So that guy could get really ridiculous. You discard a Madness card and then play the card for its Madness cost, and then you're still going to get its converted mana cost as damage to a creature or planeswalker. So yeah, and none of that requires you tapping him other than him attacking. So very powerful card. I can see why it's a mythic. You will probably see this even in non-wolf decks because he's powerful. But he is a mythic, so you can only have 1. And our last red card for today is Zada's Commando. 1 red, 1 colorless. It's a common goblin archer ally. Ally is the key here. It's a 2/1 for 2 mana, which is just okay. The fact that it has first strike makes it really good. A 2/1 first striker for 2 mana is pretty nice. Great early game. And he has Cohort. Tap him and tap an untapped ally you control. Zada's Commando deals 1 damage to target opponent. That's okay. In an aggro deck, it's really useful because usually you're gonna early game whittle them down to a low life, and then when you get to about the mid game, you may have a hard time dealing damage. This will give you a way to ping them and finish out the game. So I like the Zada's Commando for aggro decks. Alright, so that's it for our red cards. And our next episode we're going to be going through the green cards and on and on. So guys, I thank you for watching. I want to hear your opinions. Let me know what you think of the cards. Correct me if some cards I thought were not that great. Tell me why they are great, and the ones that I thought are great, if you thought that they're bad, tell me why down in the comments. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a like, and again, I'd like to thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.